Calgary Police Service is asking for assistance from the community as it continues to investigate the double homicide of Don and Roxanne Carlson on the 1-year anniversary of their murder. Just before 1 p.m. on Saturday, February 15th, 2014, the Calgary Fire Department responded to an alleged carbon monoxide complaint at the residence at 12200 block of Lake Erie Road S.E. Inside the residence, 2 people were found deceased. Carbon monoxide was ruled out as a contributing factor, and the CPS Homicide Unit was brought in to investigate. Following autopsies completed on Monday, February 17, 2014, the victims were identified as Don Carlson, 59, and Roxanne Carlson, 56. The cause of death has not been released. As a result of the investigation to date, the Homicide Unit would like to release 2 composite drawings of men observed in the area on February 14th and Saturday, February 15th, 2014. We would like to speak to these men regarding the presence near the Carlson residence. The first man was observed by a witness on Lake Erie Road on Saturday, February 15th. He is described as a Caucasian in his 40s with long, dirty blonde hair and a slim build. The second unknown man was observed in the 200 block of Erie Road Southeast on February 14th. He is described as a Caucasian in his 30s, 6 feet tall with dark hair. We believe also that a new silver or gray pickup truck, possibly a Toyota, was present near the Carlson residence during the discovery. As part of the investigation, we have conducted extensive neighborhood inquiries, vehicle check stops, and reviewed over 2,000 hours of CCTV video. In addition to our own search, Calgary Search and Rescue assisted us with a widespread search of the area near the Carlson residence. We've also utilized resources from private DNA labs, CPS Cyber Crimes and Tech Crimes, RCMP, forensic tools, forensic psychologists in an attempt to identify this case. To date, no clear suspects have been identified, and the motive for the murders is still unknown. We continue to ask for the public's assistance for any information relating to the investigation, including the identity and location of the men in the composite drawings. An anonymous contributor is still offered a $25,000 reward for direct information responsible for the arrests and convictions of the parties responsible for the murder of Don and Roxanne Carlson. To be eligible for the reward, anyone with information relating to the homicide is asked to contact investigators directly at our tip line or by phoning 403-428-8877. Alternatively, members of the public who wish to remain anonymous can contact Crime Stoppers. Questions?
What do you believe you might be able to get from these men?
They were seen in the area, and so we're hoping that any information they can bring forward or something they may have seen is what we're looking for.
So you've said no suspects, but would you call these men persons of interest at this point?
I think that would actually be stretching it because we do not have information that leads us anything other than that they were in the area.
What has it been like to investigate this?
It's actually been very, very difficult. We're looking at 2 individuals in their home, no sign or no ties to any criminal activity, anything like that. And so it's been a very long, drawn-out investigation, and it's been very difficult for the members of the Calgary Police Service, as well as specifically for the family members.
Can you expand on that a little bit? I'm assuming you're liaising with the family. How are they doing?
As to be expected, they're heartbroken with losing their loved ones and would love to get closure for this.
So these 2 guys, what were they seen doing?
They were just seen in the area. They were. Our understanding from witnesses is they were people who were just in the area. That's it.
Were they walking around? Were they...
I can only assume the information we have is again just seen in the area.
The truck that you mentioned, is that connected to these 2 men at all, or is that a totally separate?
We have no information to say it's connected.
Can you expand at all on what you've used the forensic psychologists for?
On a case like this, we will pull out all the stops on trying to figure out exactly what took place. And so to bring in a forensic psychologist is somebody who may give us information or lead us in a direction that we couldn't think of or had witness statements or evidence to lead us in that direction.
Are these the only two seen in the area that you've yet to be in contact with?
At this time, yes. I mean, we've canvassed the neighborhood. We've spoken to everybody within blocks of the area, and these two are the only individuals that have popped up during the investigation that we haven't been able to locate.
You touched on this a little bit, but the couple, no ties to anything sort of sketchy or anything criminal?
That's correct. I mean, we're talking to Calgarians, hardworking individuals, part of the community, involved in the community, and a very unfortunate death.
Is there significance to this being the 1-year anniversary? Is it want to spark people to think this is what I was doing this weekend last year, or does it just so happen this is when these sketches were available?
We like to work on our leads as quickly as possible. We've had information on these sketches for a couple months, but because we wanted to figure out what we could figure out prior to making it public, that is part of it. And to the other part of your question, yes, it's a year later, and some people will look back and say, what was I doing at that time? And if there is any information they think is relevant, we want them to come forward.
And sorry, cause of death, you've never released that? Or?
No, we've never released it, and it's not something that we're going to change at this point.
Are you able to specify what time of day that two men were seen in the area on the days you listed?
With the information we have right now, actually I can't. And it's not that I can't. They were seen in the area by witnesses, and that was all we were given.
Well, one of them you're asking about is from the day before, the man on the right. Is that because is there an uncertain window then as to when the time of death was, or?
It's not the uncertain time of death. It's somebody we haven't spoken to is really what it is. Somebody, one of our witnesses has come forward and said it was odd to see this person, and want to follow up on it. That's really the only reason.
It just seems to be a broad bracket of time, I guess.
And again, it's just part of the investigation, and so that's why we are, as I mentioned before, we're looking at pulling out all the stops, and if somebody was in the area and saw something odd the day before, and we feel it's going to fit in with the other evidence we have, that's why we're looking at people that would have been within that 24-hour period.
I'm sorry, just lastly, if you can help me with a bit of history on that. When was the last time the Carlsons were seen healthy or known to be alive and well?
The evening before the discovery.
So just to clarify, they weren't acting in any suspicious way, these two people, because you just said, neighbors or witnesses say it was odd to see them in the area. They happened to just be there, or were they acting suspicious?
And that's exactly right. We're not saying they're acting suspicious. They were just in the area. Yeah.
And they weren't seen together, right? They were seen.
That's correct. They were at different times, yep, and in different areas.
So are they different from the residents? They're just people who didn't live in the area, but you just haven't talked to them yet, they might have more information?
That's correct.
Any other questions? Are you able to speak to, I think at the last news conference, you were saying one or more people were possibly inside the house when was an incident that went over? Do you have any more information on how many suspects you're looking for?
At this point right now, we are still at a loss. The investigation is ongoing, and we can't say if there was one or more people who were involved in this.